Yeah.
No, dude,
But you know what's great? Welcome
I
back to
can't-
Pod-a-Mania. My name is Eddie. His name is Dylan. He prefers cold opens while I prefer warm welcomes. So give it a round of applause, everybody. Oh my God.
Bro,
No.
this guy stinks.
No. No. Don't boo this man.
Just
You
no,
should follow us
no,
at Pod-a-Mania.
no.
Follow our personal Twitters as well. Um, this is a weekly wrestling show almost every week.
Yeah, some guys like to show up.
Oh man.
But,
Any, but we cover SmackDown from last week, Raw from this week. And we're gonna cover a little bit of NXT because I'm excited about it. SmackDown, let's get into it.
Randy Orton was just like, "Hey, I want my shot."
Dude, we are in an era where two legends like John Cena and Randy Orton both want to make history. Both want to chase 17-time. Is it 16 for Randy? 15? I think it's 15.
14.
I think it's 15.
14.
Gosh, this is why we needed Jamie for the podcast, huh?
Yeah, this is, well, we could have had one, but
Yeah. Anyway, Randy Orton is fine. We're fine. Fraxium is fine.
dude, did you see their tweet yesterday?
Yeah, the April Fool's Fraxium is not
April
fine.
Fool's Axiom's not fine.
Oh, man.
You participate in April Fools? Are you an April Fool's guy?
No. We know
Oh,
that
right.
we know that Logan Paul is born on April Fool's, and so he is the biggest fool of them all.
But yeah, nah, I'm not an April Fool's guy. I'm more of a for holidays that aren't real, in the sense of like, come on, man, that's not a holiday. I'm a St. Patty's Day guy. Any excuse to get a beer.
I wish my plans got canceled for St. Patrick's Day, but
That's the worst.
yeah, I was gonna split the G for the first time ever.
Dude, you weren't gonna split the G.
I was gonna do it first try.
No, you weren't.
Oh,
You're not a G splitter.
but Randy Orton is gonna get his 15th championship on the first try with the punt of kicking Homelander's head off.
Dude,
Eventually,
I need him to land one of these punts. I really need him to.
he will land it at Mania on Kevin Owens.
I hope so.
He missed it. He missed it later on here in the show. We'll get to it now because it's all the same segment. Kevin Owens escaped Randy Orton's punt later on in the show. You know,
Yeah.
good for him. He
Also, Drew McIntyre interrupted that whole thing.
he also got put through real glass later on in the show.
Dude, I can't stand this glass thing. It all started when the dude from AEW knocked on the glass, dude.
Hey, then real glass. Cry me a river.
Cry me a river, dude. Didn't they get stuck in Drew's eye?
Yeah, he wore an eye patch. Him and Tongaloa are the same.
Dude,
I do miss him. I'm excited for his return later on.
I miss him a lot.
In a few months, June, I believe. And I'm excited for an Alien Dragunov return.
Yeah, no, that's the big one. That's
That one,
the big time.
that one's coming up here in June, July. Following up here on SmackDown though. we're
Free
just
profits be pretty deadly.
we're fucking all over the place today.
It's SmackDown, dude.
I know.
Who cares?
But we're loosey goosey. We're talking about we're talking about St. Patrick's Day. Oh man, imagine if you could touch me right now. But yeah, Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly. Secret Harvest versus the KCs. They overload the first half of SmackDown with tag matches.
Yeah.
Or like multi-person segments.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of exhausting. it's so over. It's so much. It's so many people, and there's so many entrances a lot of the time that by the time that we get to the interesting bits like Roman and Seth and Punk, I'm
Or like LA Knight, Braun, and Jacob Fatu. Like when we get to these
exactly
areas of the show, I'm already checked out on Twitter.
really you're all like, man.
Do you think it,
That's saying you checked out during the women's break. That's like
dude? Do you really care about
you
the
saw
Secret
two.
Hurricane
You
match?
saw you, you
Do
saw
you
four
care?
D. You saw 8 DEI hires in both of these tag matches, and you checked out of the show.
You cannot tell me that Pretty Deadly's a DEI hire.
Yes, boy.
Two white men,
Flamboyant white men.
just like you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude. I don't care about the Secret Service angle. I just don't think it's a great angle. It's not fun for me.
I enjoy the comedy stuff. I enjoyed what
But we've
Chelsea.
always had this. We've
Yeah.
always had this where it's like the comedy stuff for me has got to be really funny, or I'm out.
I don't know. I think it's a good balance of like keeping a serious storyline because like yeah, it can be really funny. I think you have those characters like an R-Truth, but he hasn't gotten a real storyline since I want to like genuinely awesome Truth at Mania. Um
Yeah, but I just
like
mean in the sense of like,
the
I'm
Judgment Day
sorry.
stuff I
Just for
was
me
uninterested
personally,
in.
it makes me not care about that title for it to be centered
I'd
around a
ar-
comedy angle.
I'd argue it's more interesting than the IC title for.
But the matches are not as good
But
anywhere
that's
close.
the no. It's two different styles.
I don't know. I
There
think
is that
though.
extreme. I have sincerely enjoyed the Michin and Chelsea like street fights that they've had.
Oh no, those were good. Those were good. Those were fine.
Like they're good wrestlers, and there's just it's just different
When
styles.
when the table broke and Meechin just went, "Ah, I'm gonna jump on it anyways. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go for it. I might as well."
Um,
Those are
but
fine. I but I
you
just
said you
mean like
check
I
back
just
in.
ugh.
Yeah, you said you checked back in here at LA Knight versus Braun, which was
No,
interrupted by
I'm not gonna
Jacob
lie to you.
Fatu.
Halfway through the Pretty Deadly match, I started texting, and I was just like, "Well, they're not gonna have the Street Profits drop the title.
I know.
SmackDown has good tag team wrestling, and just because I'm texting doesn't mean I'm not watching. It's more just like, it's not full
You're
attention.
second screening it, and that's worse.
It's Subway Surfers.
Ugh.
SmackDown is Subway Surfers. Raw is main monitor.
While you're watching
But yeah,
March Madness for your Subway Surfers there, huh?
yeah, basically.
um,
Um, you know, the LA Knight, Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu thing is what it has always been. It's just, I get it.
I don't enjoy that LA Knight's still fodder for the bloodline at this point. Even as a U.S. champ, he should be facing individual opponents like an Andrade, like an Aleister Black that's coming up here. Rusev just signed.
Dude, I'm so
Like,
happy about Rusev.
there
You think it'll be
are.
Rusev Day again?
It'll be Mizsev Day. Mizsev Day, don't miss. and
God, that
they introduced trio belts.
dude, it's made me throw up in my mouth. That was awful. Wow. Wow. Rumiz Day don't miss is the worst thing that's the worst sentence you've ever said.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I could see it.
I think with this, I mean, Jacob Fatu angle, he's already faced Braun. I'm really not interested in him facing Braun again here at Mania. I think the angle for Fatu for Mania is a Solo Sikoa match.
I think it's just gonna be Solo keeping on costing him matches.
We'll see.
You better stay out of my way. That's literally like all I got out of their little talk the other week.
We'll see. He's like posting cryptic stuff on social media. Like when they won the tag team titles and he asked Jacob for the title belt. So yeah, Jacob remembers. It's like a telltale game when you're playing those, like in the little corner. Like
Jacob will remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they just call that long-term storytelling, I guess.
Cinema. Naomi attacked B-Fab and Michin as they were making their entrance for the next match.
Man, dude.
Honestly,
I love Naomi, dude.
Yeah, it'll be a very, can I just say, bitchin' match at Mania? Like Naomi and Jade Cargill are gonna kick each other's ass, and I don't care who comes out on top because either woman will look stronger.
It should be Jade Cargill.
It should be. Honest. Yes.
But if it's Naomi, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. But that's set up for the Charlotte versus Michin match.
Michin's good at her job.
Which is so unfortunate that that's her job.
She's just so good at her job.
I would love a US title reign for her. And I think that's to come in due time. Drew versus Randy Orton happened.
More still like one of the best moves of all time.
Yeah.
So sick.
Then, as we said, Kevin Owens escaped Randy's punt. Big Jim versus Big Miz. I have in my notes.
The last known sighting of Big Jim before his murder.
Yeah, well, no, this is his last known sighting in the UK.
Yeah,
at that point, we haven't gotten there yet. Yeah. Don't spoil the fucking show, you asshole.
Come on.
But hey, come on, it's the thumbnail.
Yeah, like it's gonna be a homicide victim. Big Jim.
Yeah. But currently the only homicide victim is Drew McIntyre because, as we said, he got put through real glass.
And it got in his eye, and he looked like a pirate. Had to wear eye patch and look like a pirate.
But really, what we all came into SmackDown for, what we all tuned into SmackDown for, was the contract signing between the big three, arguably, right now in WWE.
Who's J. Cole? Who's Kendrick? Who's Drake? Out of these three,
J. Cole is Seth because he is so good at his job. And he's gonna take the pin.
Yep, 100%. Because the other two will refuse to do it.
I think Punk is Kendrick and Roman is Drake. I'm not calling Roman a PDF file.
No, I just mean in like scope of everything.
Yes.
Like. Yeah, I agree completely. I love it. I love my favorite part of this whole thing they're doing is Seth is just a hater. like Seth was so mad that Punk's main eventing WrestleMania that he's not even happy that he is.
Yeah.
You don't deserve it.
He was pouting like a damn baby. And if you guys caught it in our community tab, I posted that photo and said, sorry we missed last week. I know we're 15 minutes into the episode, but sorry we missed last week.
Yeah. The best part is half the time I don't see when you tweet on the account and when I do.
It's not it wasn't a tweet. It was on the community tab on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Dylan is in charge of our Twitter. So
you can't leak that. You can't leak that. You can't leak that.
So send all DMs at Pod-a-Mania Pod to Dylan Address them to Dylan.
If you want me to ask Eddie, I'll ask him for you. I'll send the screenshot. Like, hey, this guy has a question for you, Eggy.
But yeah, Roman Seth Punk. It was a great segment. Punk is finally getting his main event at WrestleMania. Some would argue that is it the real main event because it's night one.
It's night one of the 2-day extravaganza, as Punk said himself when he was in AEW.
Yeah.
No, it still is to me.
It's the main event. It's the main event of night one. Yeah. And I think, like, if you are going way back to, like, one of the first WrestleManias, they argued a dual main event at 2 different locations.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, which one was the main event there? To the New York fans, it was one match, and then to the LA fans, it was the other match.
Exactly. So
I think it was New York and LA.
I get what you're saying. It's more of just like night one, night two. I think because we've always talked about it. It's co-main events when it's a one-night special, right? Like when WrestleMania was one night, it was always co-main events. It was always the last 2.
No, I think there is bullshit in the co-main event. Like,
but I'm saying like when
and
they
I
say
agree,
co-main event,
and I agree with like the IWC there when like Tony Khan tries to pull that shit with the AEW pay-per-views where he says it's a double main event, and then like the women is the match before the match he wanted to main event in the first place.
The difference to me is it's the 2. I think that this storyline is the second most important storyline, and it's not close.
What's the first?
The first
Cody
one being Cody and John. Anything John does for the rest of this year will be the most important thing in wrestling.
Okay.
This is easily second when you look at the landscape. The Jey Uso one, probably not up there.
No.
The women's title picture, both sides. I think Io, Rhea, and Bianca should be 3 on this list. And then 4 is probably Jey Uso. And then 5 is the mid card. Just everything down. I don't really want to list it out.
The IC multi-man match, which we'll get to.
Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, SmackDown overall, again, it's way too long, but there was some great segments here. We forgot to say, like, yeah, Rusev got hired, Malachi Black got hired, or Aleister Black got hired. Rey Fenix is set to debut next week. So I'm excited to see.
They're not debuting them together.
I'm excited to see them as solo stars for the meantime until they get drafted to the same show and probably
the transfer window now. Actually,
well, they closed it, I think.
But they're gonna reopen the transfer window.
Yeah, but Raw happened.
That's when the draft mattered. I watched
Raw,
like a 45-minute YouTube video on the WWE draft the other day.
Raw didn't just happen. Raw was actually insane, and I'm so happy about your YouTube video. I don't want to ignore that.
But I was thinking because you said the draft, and it just made me think like, remember when the draft was the sickest thing ever?
Yeah. Remember when they wore T-shirts?
Dude, remember when Cena got drafted to SmackDown and then back to Raw?
That was a tease to the USA Network.
I found that out through that video I watched.
Really?
I didn't know that until then. Yeah. So it's like, dude, but I miss when the draft mattered.
Yeah.
I don't know. Brand loyalty, like.
Honestly, okay. As a kid, I like SmackDown more.
I was a Raw guy,
which is such a shame because like I was rocking with SmackDown for a very long time. Like Dean Ambrose, like AJ Styles, that shit, like that was
I was just always a Raw
I mean,
guy.
okay, I started off watching I should clarify. I started off watching SmackDown when like Edge was World Heavyweight Champion and like Christian and Randy Orton and Mark Henry and all that.
Man, that was sick.
Yeah.
I love when they recorded on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I always grew up a Raw kid. It's just John Cena. John Cena's my guy. And
Well,
then
he
when
did.
Batista moved over to Raw, it just became unreal.
Yeah. John Cena did bring the fist to SmackDown.
He did. He did.
Um,
But that was before my time.
yeah.
But talking about Raw,
And
God,
John
man,
Cena.
he's so good.
John
He's
Cena
just
and
so
Cody Rhodes
good.
in a third week promo battle.
They finally put hands on each other.
They
I've
did
been
finally.
waiting.
I am very surprised. I'm very surprised that
I
happened.
knew they were gonna do it, but I was like, when? Well, Cody's gonna get his ass beat by The Rock and John Cena next week, probably,
You think so?
or probably just John.
Cena's not. I don't think Cena's promoted for next week's Raw.
Oh man,
Yeah. So
week off, dude. Then he's gonna have to go like 30 weeks in a row.
I don't know if it's about ticking boxes, and I like maybe as of right now he is not advertised for Raw,
Yeah, no,
but
I get
maybe he will show up. But Cody pulled the 8 Mile. He did say, "I am white. I am a fucking
white. I
bum."
am a bum. I do live in a trailer with my mom.
Yeah, I have a big neck tattoo. All these different things. He is from the enemy territory. All that.
He created the enemy territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I loved it. It was great. And then John Cena was like, "Yeah, no, I didn't bury your favorite. I didn't bury your favorite rapper. I just killed them because they were mid.
I don't bury talent. I bury mediocrity. I am talent," is what he said.
God. He said, "I'm your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, and the best."
Yeah, dude. He said, "I have doom bots." That's what he said.
Dude, he's unreal. He's so good.
It's gonna be a great match at Mania, and honestly, like, it's gonna be such
I think Jesus is gonna come out this time.
It's gonna
like
be
everyone came out for Cody Roman too, right? Like everybody in WWE. You think Jesus comes out for this one? Whose side is Jesus on in this match? Cody's.
I don't know.
Dude, it's just there's so many people. Like
Yeah.
This is gonna be an insane match.
But speaking about insane, let's just like get to what you want to talk about. They were in Scotland this week for Raw, and Jey Uso was in a tag team match against A-Town Down Under with a mystery tag team partner, which everybody thought if we believed and said his name that he would appear, but nah.
Dude, I saw everybody tweeting about it being Joe Hendry, and I was like, guys, I wish I would have posted it on the Pod-a-Mania. I had something in my personal drafts, and it was like, guys, can they do the dance again? Because everyone was like, oh, it's Joe Hendry. I'm like, no, dude, what if we get the old Uso theme and they start slapping the legs again, dude? I wanted to tweet it so bad.
I don't think we'll ever get that again.
So, I know, but just imagine.
But
they came out of the shorts, they came out of the swim trunks they used to fucking wear. Oh man.
I wouldn't. I would be lying if I said that I didn't think that it was maybe gonna be Joe Hendry. But I'm so glad that it was Jimmy Uso, and they got this reunion of a match and really showed that together they are like strong. They are the strongest when they are together. When they're doing like this, like the Dragon Ball Z thing.
They're arguably the best tag team of all time.
We talked about
that. Our era, yeah.
We talked about this, and I think you said New Day the last time you said that.
That's why I said arguably. I think it's New Day, but you can argue the Usos, and I don't hate it.
Yeah, but yeah, after that match where the Usos defeated A-Town Down Under,
and this is where Gunther committed murder on live television.
Yeah. Jey Uso is handcuffed to the rope, locking him away from, he's just barely out of arm's reach from Jimmy Uso, and Jimmy Uso is being choked and absolutely bloodbathed
Dude, he pulled out the
by
blade.
Gunther. And
So-
he bladed on Netflix, and
I saw a tweet, and it was like 4 people have bladed since they banned it. And it was like him, AJ Styles, and like 2 other elite talents.
it is it like Punk and Cody.
It's something like that, dude, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, 3 elite guys in Big Jim have bladed. And that's like, dude, and it was
Yeah.
dude, I was
It made
it
this
got to a
feud.
point where it made me uncomfortable.
It made this feud so much more interesting.
Dude, did you see Gunther with blood all over him, both arms up?
Yeah.
Your rap's too clean. Your swag's too good.
Your smoke
He's
too
getting
tough.
too over. He's getting
Yeah.
too ogre. His smoke is too tough, bro. I'm telling you,
I do prefer this version of Gunther over like
the murderer.
well over this mopey like, oh, am I strong, am I the greatest of all time, like as he was like a couple months ago. Like, he was doubting himself. So I do prefer this like dominant heel Gunther that can only be paired with a Ilya Dragunov.
Dude,
I really look forward to that match, and if Gunther does end up holding that title till his return,
Oh my god.
I would like to see that match.
I really want Jim to just win it and then drop it a month and a half later to Gunther.
Jey Uso, yeah. Jey Uso is definitely gonna, like, I'd give it 70-30. 70-30. No, 60-40.
Because
Jimmy Gunther.
And if you asked me
Jay
when the Rumble
Gunther.
happened, I would have said 75-25.
Yeah.
But Gunther's smoke is too tough.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting too over. He's too good. It's getting to the point where Triple H is having to think like, dude, I kind of can't take this belt off him. He makes this belt amazing.
Yeah. But,
IC had another great match.
the women's IC had a great match between Lyra Valkyria and Raquel Rodriguez. There was a segment between Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky, which ended in a big brawl between the 3 women.
The European crowd's not a fan of Bianca Belair. I have to point it out. Like, we keep talking about, like, it feels that Rhea is the heel,
Yeah.
but there is no heel in this. It's just 3 like over people, but it's ending up making Bianca look bad.
Are we, at least, there's no, unfortunately, there is no, okay. At least there's representation in that match, and she is, like, even though the crowd didn't like her there in Europe, I do think she belongs in that match. It gives that story such an interesting spin. I think a lot of us were expecting Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky, and honestly, to see Bianca Belair kind of get this chance, like, all 3 of these women have climbed up from NXT to the main roster together or just behind each other. And, I think this is a real test of strength because, Bianca has kind of placed herself not really at, like, the number 1 spot in the women's roster, but she is definitely, like, one of the greatest all-time women's talents. And Her versus Rhea versus Io, it's going to be such a good match, and I'm hoping that who are you thinking wins the match?
You know who I want to win.
Io Sky.
I want Io Sky to win. I just think she's a really good champion. I think I'm tired of Rhea's run. They need to give her a new character or like new reason for doing what she's doing. Because now that it's post Judgment Day Rhea, it hasn't been post Judgment Day Rhea because she's just been dealing with Liv.
Yeah.
Like I really want Rhea to go and find her new thing. So I want it to be between Bianca and Io. I love Bianca. I think she's really good, but I want to see a Io run because I wasn't watching in Io's last run. I watched all of Bianca's last run, basically in between Bianca's last run and when we started talking about wrestling again, really with Matt and them, is when I started like really getting back into the product. I kind of missed Io's run, and I kind of want to see one where she gets to have a lot of good matches against a lot of different people. But I have a feeling Bianca's gonna win this match.
I think it could go any which way. I was initially gonna say Io because I do think that she deserves that WrestleMania moment, and I do.
Bianca already had hers. Rhea's already had hers.
Yeah, so
I hope so.
Now
your favorite wrestler.
Yeah, to talk
El
about
Grande Americano from the Gulf of America. Your favorite wrestler.
To talk about something that the European crowd definitely did not like.
Dude, you know how
and most of the internet crowd.
You know how I said I don't like the Secret Herdus?
Yeah.
I love El Grande Americano. Dude, I think it's so funny. I think it's so funny.
He's so stupid. I think
he goes, gracias!
I think
Dude,
that this bit would be so much better if they did not use AI.
Oh yeah, no,
in that production and this character. But I do think that this little stint here, I think this will probably end in Europe. Like, I don't think El Grande Americano is coming to the States.
He needs to come save America.
But what's the payoff? Who unmasks? Like, it can't be Tozawa.
Not Chad Gable. You saw they weren't in the same room. They were in the same room together.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not, but this is fun. Like this is something fun that I think was unnecessary, but it's been awesome because
I think it was purely like a little heel gimmick for Gable in the European tour because like he's a heel and he can get some heat if he's
cheap American-made heat. They wanted to make new heat,
and
I think this is really fun.
It's great. Yeah, it's so creative.
Dude, whenever he does lucha moves, dude, it's so awesome because they don't just follow it up with the most perfect suplex that only Chad Gable can do.
El Grande,
dude.
El Grande Americano versus PWG Miz. Like his like jump off the rope, like
when he had the chick magnet shirt, the really long shorts with boots.
Just like
when he had the faux hawk.
Not even when he had the faux hawk. Like a couple months ago when he was just pulling new moves out of his bag.
Oh yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's great.
But
I love the chick magnet shirt. It's one of the funniest shirts in wrestling history.
I prefer the one about his balls.
Oh yeah.
But CM Punk was up next, and he talked about his upcoming opponents in the night one main event.
I love Dr. Pepsi.
Yeah, Pepsi. The Pepsi phone is ringing. The Pepsi phone is ringing. Dude, it's back. This is a segment.
Anytime CM Punk talks into a microphone, that's what we have to call it, is the Pepsi phone's ringing.
The Pepsi phone is ringing.
Everyone, Pepsi phone. Pepsi phone's ringing. Dude, we need to get a Pepsi phone in the garage.
Yes. But yeah, CM Punk is there on Raw to talk smack about his WrestleMania main event opponents of Roman and Seth Rollins.
Can we go back to the SmackDown thing where he got his WrestleMania main event and Paul Heyman kissed him very passionately? That was so good. But Paul Heyman did so good that whole time. The whole Roman Reigns thing. Into the like, we're gonna have a really human moment between you and Punk where like this is what you guys dreamed of for years.
And I'm sure he didn't know until that moment. There was a quote resurfacing from his like earlier run with Paul Heyman, where Paul Heyman said, "I will be walking down with you in your main event of WrestleMania." So I don't know. I don't know if that's the favor. I don't know if that is something that we should make note of, but it is something to think about. And I'm curious who Paul Heyman will be aligning with come WrestleMania.
I love the wise man, and I think Roman needs Paul Heyman.
You've talked about this.
More than Punk. Punk doesn't need Paul Heyman. Punk with Paul Heyman is like, oh, this is really cool, but the whole point of Paul Heyman is so that the guy next to him doesn't have to talk as much. Not saying that Roman's not good on the mic. Roman has gotten so much better. He's been so fun on the mic. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The wise man is so good. I don't want them to ruin that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it ends up being like a challenge. Imagine the movie Challengers, but Paul Heyman is Zendaya.
I've seen the movie. I don't want to imagine. The main event of the night. Braun Breaker is an elite human being. It's just not fair. It's just genetics aren't fair.
Yeah.
You see him double suplex spin and Dom. Dude. Oh my god.
Yeah. This was a proper setup for the multi-man match there for the IC title at the IC title at Mania. You have 4 competitors there with Finn, Dom, Braun, and Penta. Throw in maybe Kaiser and Sheamus.
Sure.
All right.
I mean,
book the fucking match, Triple H. You heard us.
Do it.
Do it, bald man.
Do it.
But yeah.
I'm excited. I'm getting more and more excited for Mania every day.
I am very excited for Mania.
I didn't feel it at first. I think I was with the IWC for a little bit there, like where this is build-up's anticlimactic. I'm in. Only in now. I'm ready.
With a little bit over 2 weeks away from Mania, I am very excited for the show. You know, I'm very excited to see where all these big matches end up. And honestly, I don't think I'm skipping a single one. You know, there's not one that I'm not paying attention to.
I can't think of a piss break right now.
You know, because I am even invested in Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton. You know, just to make sure that Tiffany remains like okay, and Charlotte Hogan.
Charlotte's gonna win, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Bro.
I
can't wait.
For our
night one. Can we post night one reactions the next day? We don't even have to edit it.
Well,
you're right. We do have Matt in attendance. We might have to edit it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For our brief little NXT moment of the week. Did you catch any of this show?
I caught Javon Evans and Trick Williams.
The official triple threat for Stand and Deliver is Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Elba Femi. Yes, I saw the promo between him and Trick. He said, "You're not Trick Williams. You're Kamala Hayes."
Nice. Oh, dude, I
Oh
lost my
man,
mind.
that'd be
Also, Trick is jacked.
he is jacked.
Oh my
And
god.
apparently, none of these three men are talented because there's no talented black men on the roster,
Yeah,
according to Booker T.
yeah. Booker T said, "Yeah, we just don't have anybody right now."
Um,
Yeah, I get it. Javon's like 16. I understand. He's probably not ready. But
dude,
Trick is unreal.
send Javon to the moon.
Trick's unreal. And Obafemi is a monster.
Yeah, both of these men are like all of these men are absolutely insane. They are the next generation of talent, and I really hope, I really hope when they get to the main roster, and if they get to the main roster, they are treated with respect, and they are not just fodder.
Yeah, like I will 100% watch this.
Yeah,
Like we talk about, we don't watch every NXT takeover, whatever they're calling them now.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? We don't watch every one of those. Like, but we'll tune in for the important ones, man, and we'll tune in for the fun ones. Like I watched one on my flight home from New York,
yeah.
and that's when I text you like, oh, this Javon Evans, like Javon Evans is the real deal. Obafemi's dope. Like that, I remember talking to you about them on that flight. It's just like, oh, these guys are legit.
Yeah.
Like, they aren't messing around. Like I remember for a while we talked about the women's division NXT was the only reason to watch, and I feel like in 3 months that flipped on its head, and we're both so wrong.
I do still think that there is a really big focus on the women's division in NXT. And that is not an issue at all. Stephanie Vakir, or I believe that's how you,
I don't know.
I believe that's how you say it. Vacated the women's North American belt, which there will be,
Her opponent.
which there will be a tournament for a ladder match. Or yeah, there will be a ladder match for that opportunity.
Safest way to not make her take a pin.
Of course, I think they're still keeping her as one of the top talent there in NXT. Well, yeah, she's the women's champ. Her, Julia, Jordan Grace are running that shit down there, and I think that championship, the Women's North American Championship, is, would be great around the waist of like Sol Ruka or Cora Jade.
My pick Cora Jade. I think they're gonna give it to Cora Jade.
Cora Jade's just been doing a lot in TNA, so I'm worried that she is too wrapped up in storylines over there that they're not going to put a belt on her. But very possible that they can mix products, and hopefully they do. But finally, Ricky Saints wins the North American Championship over Sean Spears, and sets up Ethan Page as the next opponent there against Ricky Saints. All three of these men coming back to WWE. Well, one of them did, and then two of them coming from AEW, but all three of them were in AEW at one point. Yeah, these men are talented individuals, and I am so glad that Ricky Saints or Ricky Starks is being given an opportunity to wrestle on a weekly basis. That was one of my biggest complaints about Tony Khan, and the fact that he would have these talented individuals like Ricky Starks and Ray Phoenix and just not use them.
It just felt like he was holding them so WWE couldn't get them faster.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I could just drop you like I should and have you do a 90-day non-compete, and then we'll see you in 3 months on WTV, but I'm going to keep you here for a year and just not wrestle you so that you don't go to the other place. And it's like, all you did in doing that was feed the not feed the appetite of us for that wrestler, so that when they leave, we're going to care so much more. Like, we're going to care so much when Ray Phoenix is on SmackDown. We're going to care so much when Ricky Saints gets a title in NXT this fast. Like all Tony Khan has done is make himself look like the little brother promotion. You know, like doing things like this make you look bad, I think. Not letting these wrestlers go every week. You have to be able to display your talent. Because if not, when they leave, people are going to care so much more. It's just like why people care when WWE talent goes and is successful in AEW. Because it's like, this is what you should have done back there. And it's like, well, now they're going to do it here. Do I think it's going to happen with Rusev? I don't know. I got to really see what they do with that character, how they introduce him coming back. But I think Aleister Black will be immediately an upper mid card conversation. I think Rusev 100% could immediately go straight into IC title conversation. And that's exactly where I think they should start out. I think that's where those two guys deserve to start out at. Especially seeing as how they left and stuff. It's so
Yeah.
different now too, like because they left during a different time.
Yeah.
Like
I
that's
think
what I'm noticing is like a lot of this talent's coming back under the Triple H regime that left during the Vince regime.
but something I've noticed with like a lot of these talents is like they'll go to both sides and they'll realize that like, the grass
Isn't always greener.
grass is kind of the same color. It's the same field. It's the same field, and you're crossing a post. It's not even a full gate. It's one singular post in the middle of the field. Like people like Andrade have complained about both sides, and I think like having that kind of talent sit in catering each week, it's kind of disappointing, and I think we've seen likewise maneuvers from Triple H, at the end of like people's contracts and then giving them a really interesting storyline. They re-sign at the end of their contract and then they're booted back down to this booted back down to El Grande Americano.
But if you're Andrade and it happens to you at both places, you ever think it's a you thing?
Yeah.
If you were this great talent and you were this great on the mic and you were this everything you think you are and you say you are, don't you think you would get that push at either promotion instead of being stuck in catering at both?
I completely agree with you, but
think about how much we don't see, right?
Well, think about the people that are like joining these companies, and I'm not saying this about Ricky Saints and Saints/Starks, because I think that was an unfair situation he was in. I think there was absolutely no communication from Tony's end there, but I think like people like an Andrade, people like a Rusev, are better set for a promotion like New Japan, CMLL, TNA, if they even want to like have that.
Would be TNA champion tonight,
dude. He could be TNA champion soon, and he could still have that relationship with WWE if he wants to keep it like with arm's distance. But he is signed with WWE, and
I'm saying if he signed with TNA, he would be the biggest draw in TNA.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't understand how many times do you have to jump back and forth between both these promotions before you realize like, hey, maybe I am a 1B and I can be a 1A in a smaller promotion and still get paid and still have the recognition I want.
Well, there's a sense of ego and cockiness, and I can make more money there than I can here. And if I'm going to sit in catering, I might as well try and make more money.
I'd rather sit in catering and make more money than go be the number one on an NJPW or TNA, which I'll never understand personally.
Hey, but shout out to I used to hate the motherfucker, but shout out to Gabe Kidd. He's running New Japan over there.
You were not a fan of that guy.
Yeah, well, he injured Eddie Kingston, and Eddie Kingston's my fucking goat. But Anyway, guys, I think that's the end of the episode. Unless you got anything else to say.
I did post a thing of pod question. What is your favorite RKO of all time that's not the Seth or Evan board?
So if you guys made it this far into the episode, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Please subscribe, please follow, and comment down below what your favorite RKO is. That's not the Evan Bourne RKO. Follow us at Pod-a-Mania Pod.
Or the Seth Rollins one.
Or the Seth Rollins one. Remember that one, because I didn't. And
what? I'm trying to think of one.
Do we need to give an answer?
Yeah, I want to give an answer. I want us to give an answer. I know, it's tough. It's a tough thought exercise. What was the one where they threw him off? They threw the person basically off the top of the cage, and Randy caught him on the way down. It was the War Games match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Jade McDonough.
Yeah. No, that one was really good.
He did that. I liked. There's been like a phenomenal forearm into a RKO, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Or like, Logan Paul has done like a springboard into an RKO. So any kind of that, I definitely agree with you. Like that off the cell. I like the moves more that Randy does it. I mean, this was a missed one, but he got shoved into thumbtacks when he tried to do it to Mick Foley.
Mm-hmm.
So,
did he ever get one? This is a spot that I thought about in my head that probably never happened, but I wish it did, where Kevin Owens tried to pop up powerbomb him and Randy caught him on the way down. That'd be so sick. That's one I think I thought up in my head that would be a dope spot. He turns it, like when he gets thrown up, he turns in the air and then catches Kevin on the way down. That would be sick.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be a fun one. Yeah, let us know.
But yeah, let us know down in the comments below what is the best RKO that's not the Evan Bourne or the Seth Rollins one. Follow us on Twitter at Pod-a-Mania Pod. And have a great week. We will see you next week.
Hopefully.
Bye-bye.